Hello, I am Pramod Kumar. Today our subject is accountancy. Our chapter is financial statements of a company, and this is part 3 of 3. We have divided this chapter in 3 parts, and this is the third part. 2 parts we have already discussed in previous videos, right? Here we will focus only on the statement of P&L. This is the standard format of a statement of profit and loss, right? And for the period ended, it could be 31/3/19, 31/3/18, 31/3/20, anything. Suppose hypothetically we take it as period ended 31/3/2020, right? And there are 4 columns. One more column could come for notes. Here we could have one column for note, right? Suppose note number 1 is before item number 4. So explanations will be given at the footnote. What are the notes in respect of item number 4, right? Serial numbers, particulars, figure as at the end of current reporting period means 2019-2020. Since we are talking of P&L, it refers to a period, and if it belongs to 31/3/20, then the period is P&L period is 1/4/2019 to 31/3/2020. Figure at the end of current reporting period and figure as at the end of previous reporting period means 1/4/17 to 1/4/18 to 31/3/19. Whatever happened during that period. Comparison of current year with the previous year. We start with the items of P&L, particulars. First is revenue from operations. You must be careful about the words. Whatever terminology is being used, you must be careful, mindful. Revenue from operations, from the operating activities of the company, main operating activities. 2 is other income. So what is other income? Suppose here we are discussing ABC Limited, right? And ABC Limited manufactures pens, the pens with which we are writing pens, right? So if in case of ABC Limited, which is into manufacturing of pens, if they are earning interest income, then it will fall under other income, right? Take another case. Suppose we are talking of XYZ Limited company, which is a banking or finance company. We are not talking of ABC Limited, a pen manufacturing company. We are talking of XYZ Limited, a banking company or a finance company. In that case, the same earning of interest income will fall under revenue from operations, because the main business of a banking company or a finance company is to borrow and lend. When they lend, they earn interest income. So that will not be other income for them, that will be revenue from operations for them. So we need to understand what are the things which will come in which place, keeping in view which company we are talking about. If this is being prepared for ABC Limited, a pen manufacturing company, interest income will come under other income. In case of a banking or finance company, interest income will come under revenue from operations, because the nature of business has changed. Main operating activity has changed, right? So under revenue from operations, sale of product, sale of services, sale of products, sale of services, and other operating income. Other operating income which arises from the main operating activities of the enterprise, right? And other income interest income, but in case of a company other than a finance company, interest income will come under other income if it is a non-finance company. If it is a finance company, it will come here, revenue from operations. And the total of both will come under item 3, total revenue 1 plus 2, right? 1 plus 2. Now we go to the, other income, interest income, dividend income, net gain or loss on sale of investments, right? Net gain or loss on sale of investments, because I am a pen manufacturing company, investment is not my main operating activity. So whether it is loss or gain, it is other income, other non-operating income, right? All other income that arises out of my those activities which are not my main operating activities will come under other income, right? And the total of 1 and 2, revenue from operations, other income, will come under total revenue 1 plus 2, right? Current year, previous year, for comparison. Now we go to the fourth item, expenses. Under expenses, we have got 7 major items, right? 7 major items. Cost of material consumed. I have written in short here due to lack of a space. Cost of material consumed. Whatever raw materials are consumed or other ancillary materials, cost of material consumed plus purchase of a stock in trade, those goods which are purchased for the purpose of trading. Those goods don't undergo the manufacturing company with manufacturing process with this company. They are bought and sold. They don't undergo any other manufacturing process. Purchase of a stock in trade, changes in inventories, changes in the opening and closing position of raw materials, work in process, finished goods, that will come. Employee benefit expenses, salary, wages, leave encashment, everything related to employee benefit expenses will be added. Finance cost. Suppose ABC Limited Pen Manufacturing Company has availed a loan of 1 crore rupees at 10% per annum interest, and that loan has been fully utilized for the full year. So what will happen? Finance cost will be 10 lakhs. Interest cost. Suppose ABC Limited Pen Manufacturing has availed a loan of 1 crore at 10% per annum rate of interest. 10% per annum, and throughout the year it has utilized the full amount, right? So finance cost will be 10 lakhs. But suppose for the sanction of that loan, the bank has charged some processing charges, loan processing charges, documentation charges, etc. Those expenses will not come here. Here purely finance cost means interest cost will come. Depreciation and amortization expenses will come here. Other expenses will come here, right? Under it has got 7 heads. Cost of material consumed 1, purchase of a stock in trade 2, all will be shown separately. Changes in inventory 3, employee benefit expenses 4, finance cost 5, depreciation and amortization 6, other expenses 7. Fifth, profit before extraordinary items and tax. How do we get that? Out of total revenue, item number 3, we will deduct 4. We will deduct expenses out of total revenue, then we get profit before extraordinary items and tax, 3 minus 4. Then under 6 we mention exceptional items. What are the exceptional items considered during the period? 7. Profit before extraordinary items and tax, right? Then we deduct extraordinary items and then we come at profit before tax. How do we get that? We deduct 8 out of 7. 8 extraordinary items we deduct from profit before extraordinary items and tax. So when we deduct extraordinary item, profit before tax comes here, right? Then item number 10, tax expenses, current tax, deferred tax. In the last video we have discussed what are deferred tax, what are deferred assets, right? So tax expenses will be considered of two types. Current tax means if this is for 2019-20, then current tax means 2019-2020 tax, and this is deferred tax. 11th, profit or loss. Loss we have written in bracket, we need to write loss under brackets. Profit or loss for period from continuing operations, right? 9 minus 10 means PBT minus tax expenses is equal to profit or loss for the period from continuing operations. Then 12th item, profit or loss from discontinuing operations. If there are discontinuation in the business of operations, so whatever profit or loss arises out of the discontinuation of operations will come here. Then tax expenses of discontinuing operations. If there are any tax implications on account of discontinuing of operations, that will come here. And then when you deduct 13 from 12, what do we get? Profit or loss from discontinuing operations after tax. As we have got 11th item number 11, profit or loss for period from continuing operations. Similarly, we have got item number 14, profit or loss from discontinuing operations after tax, right? And when we deduct 14 out of 11, then what do we get? Profit or loss for the period 2019-2020. So what we have done? We have deducted profit or loss from discontinuing operation after tax from profit or loss from period from continuing operations. Then we have come at profit or loss for the period 11 minus 14. And lastly we come to earnings per share, basic, diluted, right? Here earning per share is to be mentioned in two forms, basic and diluted, right? So what did we see here? We have seen a standard format of a profit and loss statement in which serial numbers are there, particulars are there, and figure as at the end of current reporting period and figure as at the end of previous reporting figure are given for comparison, right? Then usage and importance of financial statements. What are the usage and importance of? It is one of the financial statements. Others are balance sheet and cash flow statement. See, the main usage and importance of financial statements are 7. To be precise, they are 7. Report on stewardship function, right? When we finalize these figures and we get this with all the figures, it reflects a report on the stewardship function, means the people who are in the driving seat, the people who are in the leadership position of the company, the people who are in the top management position, how they are discharging the affairs of the company. It reflects a lot on their efficiency and management, right? So it is a report on stewardship function. Second is basis for fiscal policies. The government and the taxation authorities derive at their fiscal policies depending upon the financial statements of various companies in their economies, right? So the fiscal policies, particularly taxation policies of the government, are related with these financial statements. If most of the companies are having bad financial results, fiscal policies will change. The government will be forced to change their fiscal policy, right? Third one is basis for granting of credit. Suppose I am a bank and this is ABC Limited, a pen manufacturing company. So while deciding on extending loan to this company or not, I will look into the figures. Look into these figures. Only when the figures are acceptable, satisfactory for my extending of loan to this company, I will extend loan to this company, right? And what is anybody interested in? When anybody lends to this company or any company, or anybody invest in this company or any other company, they are concerned with mainly three things: liquidity, security and profitability, right? Liquidity, security and profitability. Suppose you are investing 1 lakh rupees in a company's shares, right? So your main concerns will be three. How liquid my investment will be? Will I be able to liquidate, get my money back in short period? How secure is my money? Will my money be safe or will it sink? And how profitable is ABC Limited in which I am investing? If it is not profitable, I would not like to invest in that company. On similar lines, a lender will think whether this company, the lender is able to find it liquid, secure and profitable. So basis for granting of credit, they take decisions on the basis of the financial statements. Fourth is basis for prospective investors. As we have already discussed, if I have not invested in the shares of this company till now, and if I propose to invest, I will see whether the financials are strong or not, whether the financial result is satisfactory or not, whether I am convinced on liquidity, security, profitability of ABC Limited. If I am convinced, I will take a decision to invest. Guide to the value of the investment already made. Suppose I have already invested in this company. I have already invested in the shares of this company. So what happens? Financial result of this company, there will be a guide to the value of the investment made. Suppose the performance has been going down, right? Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. The performance was up, it became stagnant, it deteriorated, and in the fourth year it further deteriorated. So what is happening? First year the performance was going up, result was going up. Second year it became a stagnant. Third year it somewhat declined. Fourth year it took a deep dip, right? So what is happening to my investment? It shows that my investment is not very safe and secure, right? So financial statements are a guide to the value of investment already made. The value of my investment, if I originally invested 1 lakh rupees, it doesn't appear to be 1 lakh or more than that, because the financial results have been declining over the last 3 years. Aids trade association in helping their members. Who are the members of trade associations? Trade associations, who are the members? People working in various organizations, and many times organizations also are members of trade associations. So trade associations help their members through financial statements. They develop standard ratios. Trade associations develop standard ratios and design uniform systems of accounts to be followed by all their members, right? So that they are comparable. They can be compared. Seventh, it helps a stock exchanges, right? What are stock exchanges? National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, NSE, BSE. It helps stock exchanges. Financial statements help the stock exchanges to understand the extent of transparency in reporting on financial performance. Limited companies have to submit these reports to the listed companies have to submit the reports to the stock exchanges, with whomsoever they are registered, right? So, stock exchanges, by analyzing the financial statements of various companies, come to know how transparent a particular company is in declaring, in explaining its figures, its performance, its position, right? And enables them to call for required information to protect the interest of investors. Stock exchanges are in between the company and the investors. If I need to invest in ABC Limited 1 lakh rupees, I need to go through some stock exchange or some broker registered with a stock exchange. So a stock exchanges analyze the performance and financials of companies so that they can try to protect the interest of the investors in those companies, right? The financial statements enable the stock brokers. There are various brokers, thousands of brokers registered with these stock exchanges. The financial statements enable the stock brokers to judge the financial position of different companies and take decisions about the prices to be quoted. Prices to be quoted for their shares, right? Then we come to what are the limitations of financial statements. Everything cannot be good in respect of anything. So here we come to the last point. What are the limitations of financial statements, right? First of all, we have already discussed in our previous videos that the figures that are contained in these financial statements are based on historical cost, right? Historical cost. But as we know, the value of money keeps on changing almost every day. So when we study any financial statement, it doesn't give any position as of a current date, right? Because items in the financial position and financial result have been given based on historical cost basis, right? So they don't reflect position as on current date. Then assets may not realize. Suppose in the financial position of a company we have come across ABC assets. In the case of liquidation of that company, we may not be able to realize those assets. Means, suppose in the books of ABC Limited, fixed assets have been shown as 1 crore. When the company goes into liquidation, this 1 crore may not be realized. Realizable value of the fixed assets may be much less than 1 crore. Right? Fixed assets in the books of the company are valued at 1 crore. The company goes under liquidation due to whatever reasons. So the realizable value of fixed assets may not be 1 crore, it may be much less than 1 crore. Bias, prejudice, we have already discussed. Financial results are the outcomes of recorded facts, accounting concepts and conventions used, and personal judgments made in different situations by the accountants. We have already discussed, right? Hence, bias or prejudice may be observed in the results, and the financial position shown in financial statements may not be realistic, right? In the previous video we have discussed that opinions, judgments of the management are there in the financial result and financial performance, financial position of the company. So it may not reflect 100% actual position, right? Aggregate information. From the financial results, what do we get? Aggregate position. Suppose here we are talking about revenue from operations. So we are getting aggregate position here. We are not able to get the granular details, right? Financial statements show aggregate information but not detailed information, which I said granular information. Hence, they may not help the users in decision making much. They may help, but they may not help much, right? Vital information missing. Balance sheets don't disclose information relating to loss of markets, cancellation of agreements. Suppose last year ABC Limited was having 5 major markets, right? This year it has only 4 major markets. One major market it has lost. It will come nowhere in the financial statements, nowhere, right? Suppose last year ABC Limited had contracts with 200 customers, contracts. This year it is having contracts with only 175 customers. 25 contracts have been cancelled due to whatever reasons. So those things will not be reflected in the financial statements. No qualitative information. Financial statements give quantitative information. Information converted, expressed into money. We have already discussed in the earlier video. What are these? They are chronological recording of facts, events recorded in monetary terms. Chronological recording of facts or events represented in monetary terms, right, during a particular period. So they don't give qualitative information like industrial relation. What is the relation between the laborers and the management? Labor and the management. Industrial climate. What is the industrial climate prevailing? Labor relations. Quality of work. Quality of manpower. Those things will not come in financial statements. They are only interim reports. Financial statements are only interim reports. In case of a balance sheet, it shows the financial position as at the end of 31/3/20, right? In the case of a profit and loss statement, it shows the financial result of a company during the particular period 2019-2020, right? They are only interim reports. A statement of P&L discloses the profit or loss for a specified period 2019-2020 in this case. It doesn't give an idea about the earning capacity over a period of time. It doesn't give an idea 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? Similarly, the financial position reflected in the balance sheet is true at that point of time as on 31/3/20. Balance sheet as at the end of 31/3/20. The likely change on a future date is not depicted. By seeing the balance sheet of a company as on 31/3/2020, we cannot make any guess what will be the position on 1/4/2020, next day, right? So, I hope you found it easy to understand. In case of any difficulty, you may please approach me on my email ID, which will be there at the thumbnail to the video. Thank you very much.